Welcome back, everyone. Pal Ponder on Weather here. We've got some Arctic air building up there in Canada, and that will be heading southbound. And it's really right along that boundary where we're seeing burst of snow over the next 24 to 36 hours. So I appreciate all my subscribers out there. This channel's up to 240,000 subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. I would love to reach 250,000 by March timeframe. So if you are new to the channel here, I do a lot of updates pretty much on a daily basis. So hit the subscribe button and follow along so I can keep you well ahead of the storm. So here's the setup on the surface map. We've got this cold front. Here's the leading edge of this cold front diving southbound into the Oklahoma City region this morning, but it's right along this boundary to the northern flank here where we are seeing a burst of snow, a good 1, 2, possibly 3 inches of snow in and around Illinois, and that will feed into portions of Cincinnati region where we do have those winter weather advisories in place all the way to the coast here where Washington, D.C. into Delaware, those places in Philadelphia should likely see a couple of inches of snow from this setup. Further south, you do see some rain showers entering the picture for those areas across southeast Texas, getting right along the southern corridor here around I-10 into the Lake Charles region, into New Orleans, and then all eyes will be trending out west, where we're going to be seeing a relentless surge of moisture coming in for the west coast, and that will be a compounding effect over several days leading into early next week with flash flooding concerns. But the snow is highlighted across those areas into the Ohio Valley. So this is the latest update, the probabilities of at least 2 inches in accumulation for those areas around St. Louis, into Indianapolis, back into Columbus, into Cincinnati, all the way down to Louisville here. Once it gets into West Virginia, some of those higher elevations, easily more than 2 inches of snow. That picks back up into Pittsburgh, swings all the way through western and eastern PA, but sneaks all the way down into DC, back in the Delaware region. Even those areas in Philadelphia should likely pick up a couple of inches of snow as that continues to move across into portions of Long Island, you know, as we get into tonight time frame. But we got some colder air, and it is a modified Arctic air plunging southbound. But yeah, definitely these are real temperatures this morning up here in Montana. You've been plenty warm for February standards, so this is a drastic change of what you've seen as of late, with those single digits starting to show up on the map in the Dakotas. And you can see it's modifying, but it definitely is a colder air mass that will be heading southbound, and this actually reaches all the way down into the coast. So we're going to be delving into the forecast, but first, a word from my sponsor.
Frustrated with scattered finances, I sought a solution to unify my spendings, savings, and income. Today's video sponsor, Rocket Money. Help me be smarter with my money. Rocket Money is a personalized finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage money better. I'm using Rocket Money to cancel streaming services I don't even use. It safely and securely identifies recurring charges and cancels unwanted subscriptions for you. You can even cancel from the app with just a couple of taps. No need to worry about customer service calls. I'm using Rocket Money to set budgets. Understanding where we spend money allows us to find out where we can cut costs, which helps us with our spending goals. The cool thing is, Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. To save more, spend less, join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/ponder or click the link in the description to get started for free. You could also unlock even more features with premium. That's rocketmoney.com/ponder to get started for free.
So let's highlight the snow opportunities. Here's the latest update some accumulations probabilities over the next 24 to 36 hours. We've got this swath, and this is why they have a winter weather advisory in place for these areas into Missouri, back into Illinois, into Indiana, getting into portions of Kentucky, as well as into Ohio here, into West Virginia, northern tier of Virginia, and then back into Delaware, those areas in New Jersey, into Pennsylvania. It does try to sneak into portions of Long Island here, you know, right along this boundary. So a good swath of, I would say, 1 to 3 inches. There's probably some isolated areas that could pick up some more snow than that. And right along these higher elevation regions, likely going to picking up some 5 to 8 inches of snow in those areas across West Virginia. But the cold air is plunging southbound. And by the time we wake up on Sunday morning, that retreats all the way down to the Gulf Coast. It will moderate. So, I mean, there's no snowpack that it goes over. So once it plunges southbound, yeah, it's going to moderate, you know, as it drifts further south. But those areas, you know, 10, 15, some upwards to 20 degrees below average. So you're going to feel it, especially on the wind chill factor front. Well, most of these areas are going to be waking up with wind chills in the 20s and a kind of widespread freeze for those areas across the deep south. But notice how quick it is. It's a pretty quick plunge of colder temperatures because we do have some warmer conditions actually filtering in once this kind of moves out on your Sunday time frame. And then once that does, all eyes will be trending out west. So that cold front tends to clear the atmosphere out for a good part of the US, but then all eyes will be trending out west with the pretty much dominant feature of this upper level low that will be building across the West Coast. And these are going to be sending impulses of energy you know, from that deep moisture content from the Pacific, you know, El Nino induced, and we've seen this about 10 days ago. So we're going to have a series of storms here. This likely gets going on Saturday, deepens during the day on Sunday along those areas into Washington and Oregon, but especially into areas into California, where they do, in fact, as of right now, they have a slight risk for more excessive rain into those areas around the Bay Area. That sneaks down into Monterey, all the way in the Santa Maria area. So those are renewed concerns of all the rain that you've got lately, of those last 2 atmospheric river events just about 10 days ago. This is going to be a compounding effect again, because it's not just a one-day hit. This is likely going to be over several days, could be 5 to 6 days of heavier rainfall right along those areas. So going into Sunday morning, you can see where the colder air continues to plunge southbound. Right around that red area, that is your freezing line. So all those areas north of there will actually be below freezing. So any instability is well south. Look how far south the jet stream is. It's all the way down into Mexico. But it always is going to be elongated into those areas into Florida. And they may, in fact, impact the Daytona 500 race this weekend on Sunday. It's a probability that might actually get delayed until Monday, because we got a pretty good shot of heavier rain across that region into Florida. But all eyes will be trending out west for those areas into Oregon, especially into California there. And then the snow will filter into the interior regions and the higher elevations. They will be adding those totals up in buckets with heavier snows into those Intermountain West regions. And then going into Monday, same deal, folks. We'll have another wave of energy. So you have high winds, you got a compounding effect of those mudslides and those landslides, and just the heavier rains will start to shift in those areas into central and southern California now. So back into those regions, into the Los Angeles region, into Santa Barbara, where they got to get hit hard. They're going to get hit hard again with more heavy rain. In fact, even a day 4 risk, folks, this is a slight risk, would likely be upgraded to a moderate as we get closer. But yes, same areas again, back into Santa Maria, back into Los Angeles, into Irvine, Santa Barbara. I am expecting excessive rainfall across these regions. Lighter amount as you get up into the Bay Area. So it's one of those deals that it starts north and then trends south, and we have that low pressure again. stalling right off the coast and just sending waves and waves of moisture. So this is Tuesday now. So even a day 5 risk already of another slight risk for excessive rain. I think it's north of the San Diego region, but those areas back into Long Beach, into Riverside again, into Oxnard, back into Los Angeles. Yeah, those areas into Santa Barbara are going to be hit hard, and this will likely be upgraded to a moderate risk as we get closer. So we could be seeing back-to-back moderate risk for excessive rainfalls, especially in the Monday and Tuesday timeframe for Southern California. But yeah, once we get towards midweek, it's going to be seeing a rapid change. So we got the cold blast coming in right now. That will filter out, moderate further south. Got the freezing line well south there. And then once the winds turn around from the south and the southwest, that's a warm wind, especially we got the Pacific jet. So that will shut off the taps for a good part, for several days across a good part of the lower 48. But that will also up the temperatures in a big way. And you're likely going to be seeing the warmest temperatures so far of the year in some of these places across the central US, while we're still waiting for this trough. But we do see some signs of changes again, because we have a colder trough building up there in southern Canada. That's the culprit that's actually going to be impacting the Northeast again once we get closer to that Friday and to Saturday time frame. So if we look at the surface map on Wednesday, you can see the setup, right? So you got the first wave moving out. You got clear skies in the middle part of the country. You got the last wave of energy, I think, which starts on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and this is the last wave for the West Coast, with more heavy rainfall across those areas into California, while all eyes will be trending further north into southern Canada here with this swath of snow. That's going to help lower the pressures here up here into the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast again, with potential more snowfall. But before that, you've got some plenty warm temperatures, right? You see rapid change. You see those areas 15, 20 to 25 degrees below average will rapidly change to 15, 20, 25 degrees above average. And then we see rapid changes again lurking further north up here into southern Canada. That is the energy that's going to be diving southeast. And in its wake, it's going to create more instability with more rain showers for those areas across the southeast. But further north, as the temperatures start to dip again, as we get into that late Thursday, Friday timeframe up here in southern Canada, back into New England and into those areas of the Northeast, we're going to be seeing that changeover again to some snow opportunities back in the picture for the Northeast as those lower pressures continue to fall across this region through Kentucky again, through the Carolinas, back up here into the Northeast, into New England. We've got this low pressure here with more instabilities and more snow opportunities as that jet stream starts to dip again. So we see a lot of rapid changes, right? So this is Friday. This would be next Friday as more colder air plunges southeast, heading into the Northeast there. It will be starting to get cold enough again where we're going to be seeing that changeover to some more snow probabilities across that region as the temperatures continue to fall. So not as drastic Arctic air or anything like that, but it is going to be another cool down for those, 10, 15, somewhere upwards to 20 degrees below average. So you see a lot of rapid changes throughout the week, but going into that Friday timeframe into next weekend, there's a likely high probability that you're going to be seeing more snow highlighted in this area. It's exactly what the Climate Prediction Center is actually highlighting at this moment, with another swath of snow for a good part of New England. That does include those areas into Pennsylvania, all the way down into West Virginia again. And of course, out west, you'll have those Intermountain West snows into the higher elevations. But overall, the concern is those areas across the West Coast and all the heavier rain. It's going to be a compounding effect over multiple days. We'd likely see 4, 6, some places 8 inches. It actually could max out somewhere at 9 inches in some isolated spots into those areas across the West Coast. Lighter amounts as you get up into Washington and Oregon, but definitely heavier amounts really right along the coast here. So definitely a concern for more flooding rains across this region and more mudslides and landslides. But notice the dry slot for a good part of the country. Only wet spot is further south, way further south in the beginning of the week, where that jet stream does dip for those areas into Brownsville, all the way into the I-10 corridor, but especially in Florida, definitely looks wet. Then you got that dry slot. And then of course, this is the series where they have the snow showers for the next 24 to 36 hours. And then we have more opportunities for rain and then snow further north as we get into next Friday time frame. So guys, I appreciate you guys following. Do like this video. Definitely hit the subscribe button and catch my next update. Why I protect you before and after storm.